Hello everyone, hi, this is Maru-chan, August 23rd, 3:51 a.m. on plus GMT time or something like that, plus 7. And welcome to the Maru-chan podcast, the podcast where we, talk about the before and after of games that we have played or are about to play. And well, today is the afterthoughts of Subnautica, which is an indie game. I think it's still considered indie by normal standards. And I have the before episode where I kind of talk about my thoughts about it, and you guys can check that out. Although today I'm going to be talking about my afterthoughts once again, and I will talk about a little bit about the story, which it doesn't really have much of, because this game is mostly, it does have its little little intels that you pick up along the way and that you hear through the radio, but it doesn't have like a super big story. Besides, you go to a planet called the 4546b, and it's basically an ocean planet. And from there you have to explore. The cool thing about this game is that, from the first scene where the big old ship is crashing, and then you use an escape pod to shoot out from the big ship. From there you crash, your character gets up, you use fire extinguisher, you have to do it, and then you're on your own. All from right there, you're all on your own. And I love that part about it because it just throws you in there. And honestly, I didn't expect myself to be playing an open world / survival game. I didn't expect that from Subnautica. I thought it would have had an actual story to it, but I was wrong. I was very wrong. It's 100% a survival game, just like Raft, just like Minecraft, just like those games essentially. Rust. This is basically Rust in underwater. And what you do is you start out in your pod, everything's destroyed, and you have to end up upgrading it and building it. Now, to be honest, all of my notes are kind of all over the place because I first thought it was a story, but then it wasn't. It does have story elements where it's do this mission and this mission, but they're not actual missions. They're more like you keep upgrading stuff, and you eventually get to a spot where you can basically build something to get out. And and there are a few ways to play this game. That's the cool thing that I liked about it when I first made the file. For example, you can play normal mode, which you have to look at your hunger, your thirst, your oxygen, and also your health. In freedom mode, you only have to do your health and your oxygen. There's hardcore mode, which obviously everything. You have to look at everything, and if you die 100%. You don't start off where you saved last time you saved. And then there's a creative mode, which is you just build stuff, because like I said, it's a survival game and an open world, and you could just build stuff. And it's super cool, which I'll let you guys know a little bit more about. I'm not going to get into it a lot, because like Minecraft, you can build whatever you want. Now, it's not exactly like Minecraft where you can build exactly what you want, but you could make a underwater station if you like. If you want to make it fucking 5 kilometers long, you can do it. Technically, you can sit there and farm for however long you want, and you can make it. You can make aquariums, you can make anything, which I'm not going to get to right now, but just letting you guys know that this game is very expansive, and if you get on creative mode, you can do some pretty cool stuff. And I would like to actually go on the internet and check for people's builds and just see what they do. Maybe they have a big old water station that's super cool looking. I don't know. And so that's basically the game essentially. I'm not gonna talk about every little material out there and every little thing about the game, because that'd be kind of boring. It's like if someone just talks about every sort of Minecraft block there is and what it does. Oh yeah, sand does this and the properties of this or that, and that's kind of boring. So I'm just gonna talk about my experience and how it went for me. So I kind of played this a few times. The first time it was through the stream, and I was so lost because once again I just thought this was kind of like storyish with a little bit of survival in it, but no, it's like survival, full on survival. So kind of like Rust once again, just 100%. You start out somewhere and you have to like you barely have anything. So one cool thing before I do continue, if you make a new file, you'll start out somewhere else in the sea, and I don't think it's like um I don't think it's just like automated, kind of like Minecraft, where every world is different. I think all the worlds are the same, but I think it does have. I think it places you in different spots of the ocean, but it also does kind of have an AI to like know and move stuff around. I think like maybe like a quadrant of some sort, like it moves it around. I'm not really sure because I had to restart my game. My first save file didn't save, so I was kind of stuck. Having to play all over again, which that sucks. And when you're doing a podcast, that's not really good. But anyway, I still got through the whole game. So I guess I'm gonna talk about the materials first, and stuff that you can make, and then I'll kind of go over what I did. Also, like food and thirst and all that. I guess those are important to talk about. So the food and thirst here. So you go you go inside the game, and you have to check everything. You have to do stuff fast because you'll run out of hunger really fast. You'll run out of thirst really fast. So you need to start doing things. And when you don't know anything, it's a little bit intimidating. So you have to start going out and finding fish and stuff. And you'll notice that you can eat every fish, but they give you different properties. Like some will fill your thirst more, some will do this, and you can cook it. You can cook the fish to do different things, like some to heal you, I think, and you can get some to like cure you from a poison. I think I never actually got poison in the game, but you can use it to cure yourself. And the other one is to like drink something. If you cook the bladder fish, that's the fish that like gives you more water, then you'll essentially get more water from that, and you can later use that to make actual water. You can make water with it, and and if you mix it with bleach or some shit like that, you get two waters, but bigger waters. So it's actually beneficial if you find the material to make bleach and mix that bleach with the bladder fish. So you can, or with the water, I think, and then you have super clean water, and you also get more water. But it obviously takes more material. And the same thing for cooking. If you want to cook just a normal fish, you can, or you could just eat it, or you can cook it and it'll give you more health, or more hunger. Sorry. So yeah, it does have an increment of like what you need to actually do to get better quality materials, which is cool. And the same thing goes for the material. You start out from the bottom, and that's really great because like they do it so well in this game. Like you have to find really basic stuff, like maybe you go to like a tree underwater, and you have to get the little bulb thing that's like coming inside the middle of the street, not the street, the tree. Once you get that, you can use that to create both fiber, which can later help you to make something else like clothes, and the other one, I think it can also help you make lubricant, and that's used for certain items, like to lubricate the item. And so it's really cool because everything you can technically find at the beginning, and you make it from very basic and simple things. Then you go on to like making a knife with some of that fiber and some of the stone that you found. You mix it together, obviously, with the fabricator, because that's what it's called, your crafting table. The fabricator, it's inside your pod, and you can use that. You also have a storage space. There's a radio, and that's all. And there's a med kit there, but it's just one, I think. And so I think that's all they give you, and it's really cool. You start from the bottom. You have to get materials, and you have to put them together. And I think that's very interesting. And I don't know. For me, I picked up a ton of random shit. Um, I had no idea what did what. I found out that quartz can make glass. Certain silver can do this. Like you have to make microchips and chips, but to get chips, you need this. And if you want to make like a wiring case, you need to have copper. And to make copper, you need copper ore. And then from there, if you want that, you need also batteries, which you need like a certain acidic mushroom and mix it with a what was it? Like, I don't know. You have to mix it with something. I don't remember because so many things you have to do. But later, you can even recharge your batteries with a rechargeable battery thing. Yeah, you can make one of those. This game gets pretty deep, and I'm gonna guess people made mods for it. I'm gonna guess so, and you could add even more complicated and advanced BS in the game. BS as in good BS, not bad BS. Yeah, so you can make really cool things, and like obviously you're gonna use like copper, gold, quartz, titanium. Titanium being the like one of the biggest ones that you need, like to make big stuff like rooms and stuff. Because later you can make a base and you can add rooms and rooms and rooms and so many. Basically a water station. It's a gigantic base if you really wanted to, if you put the time into it. So yeah, it's so much more than what I thought. I thought this game was just okay, small story, done, finished, move on, play Subnautica Below Zero. But no, this game now when I go to play Below Zero, I'm already gonna have that mentality of okay, this is an actual survival game. You have to get your shit together, and yeah. I didn't even mention this, but this game actually it's considered horror, and it's technically not a horror game, but it's considered a horror game by the people, because when you go down deep in the ocean, you start hearing shit. You start like, and then everything's dark, and then things are looking at you, smelling you, feeling on you, attacking you, all sorts of things. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. But it's such a great game. It definitely gives you a great vibe, and it's a really horrific atmosphere. But that's good, because that's what the game is supposed to make you feel. You're in a space planet, in an alien planet, and everything is new. Everything is an alien. So you can't really expect for anything to be well, right? Because you don't know what's down there. I saw that like there was an alligator that would often have scraps of metal, and these scraps you can like convert them to actual titanium, which it's faster. And this game is also based on space. So for example, you can make extra space like lockers inside your pod, or even more. You can make some that you can carry with you. And you place them in like in the middle of the water, and you can put stuff inside, and they just float there, and you can come back and get them. I think it's really cool. Yeah. So essentially for me, I started like making a bunch of stuff like the knives, like CPUs, scanners, flippers. I made a helmet called the Rebreather to like help me out breathe better. But eventually you like the spaceship that's really far away from you, you can actually get there if you swim far away enough, but you need to have like enough food and water and a lot of other stuff with you, just in case. So once you get there, that's a whole different story. But you need to have a radiation suit as well, because there's a lot of radiation. Once you put it on, you're all good. You don't need to really worry about radiation. And you also have to repair things. I noticed you have to repair once you repair like the radio and stuff. You have to like replace the batteries of all of your stuff. For example, if you have a flashlight, you have to replace its batteries. If you have a freaking scanner, you have to replace its batteries. If you have a piece of bubble gum, you have to replace its batteries. You have to replace the batteries of everything. Everything is not free. You have to get the material, and you have to rebuild another battery, and you have to put it back. But once it gets better, though, it gets a lot easier. Materials get a lot easier. You can harvest. So let's just say you want a certain you can even have an aquarium. Like I said, you can do things and farm them, and then later you can make, you don't have to actually go out and harvest it yourself. You can just harvest it from your own farm that you made. So yeah, it all comes back. It all comes back to you, and I think that's super cool. If you wanted, you could have a super big room just made out of batteries that charge your batteries. So you could do that. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. You can make generators, so you can get a ton of electricity without doing anything. Like, for example, I remember I was putting what were they? I forgot the name, but basically the thing you put on top of your house, and they get energy for you, electricity. So yeah, solar panels. That's right, solar panels. How did I forget that? God damn it, Maru. So yeah, it's essentially, you could do all sorts of stuff and start making this really cool base. I remember I made a thruster first. It's like this thing that you hold on to it, and then it like has a little thruster, a little propeller, and it thrusts you. You can go a lot faster. You could use that. You could use like this kind of like, just, I don't want to call it a spaceship, but an underwater submarine. Obviously it's underwater if it's a submarine, right? But it's not like a submarine. It kind of looks like a spaceship, but in a submarine form, and it can go really fast, and you use that for long distance travels. And there's another one that you can use. It's like a robot. Like, you can use a mech, a robot mech. That one's super cool too. And yeah, you can make that one completely later on. But yeah, if you're looking for materials and all that, that's probably the first thing that you should, when you're starting out this game. You need to get materials. Don't get too much. Don't make too many materials, because you only have a certain amount of space. It's not like Minecraft where you can make 1 million chests really fast, right? You have to kind of limit yourself. And in this game, you can't. You don't have all the space unless you, at least at the beginning, you don't have all the space to do it. First, you need to make your thing, make the things you need to make, keep those in the storage or whatever, and then back to getting the materials you need. So yeah, that's basically the material part from it, and like some of the things you can do. Now I guess I'll talk about like the actual story. Not even story, just like what I went through. Yeah, so after the ship blew up, the radiation basically hits you a ton. And actually, this part was from the first playthrough, and after I had another playthrough, like I said, my my whole thing just disappeared. I don't know, it got deleted or something. You start off with like 25 oxygen, so you have to often like go back up into the surface of the water so you can get some oxygen. And you start with 25. You make a standard tank, you get like maybe like 75, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you get like 45, and then with the high level tank, the high oxygen tank, you probably get like 75 or 100 or something like that. And with the rebreather, you get even more. The point is, by the end of the game, you have a pretty good amount of oxygen, and you lose very little oxygen as time goes. Yeah, and that means more time that you can spend in the water, scavenging and getting more material. Therefore, more stuff, losing less time, not having to go back up. And you could use, once again, these items that like you can place, and you can put your items there. You don't have to go all the way back to the base, etc. So yeah, and that's basically where I stopped, and my game just deleted. So I started again, and let me see. Oh yeah. So afterwards, that's when I like started fixing all my stuff. I started back at everything I got in the first playthrough much faster. Once you learn the mechanics, it's really easy actually. Yeah. I basically upgraded everything again. and I created an underwater room. Basically, I found the blueprints, enough blueprints to get like the mini submarine, and it was cool. I was like driving around everywhere, and once again, you need power to power up all of these things, including the thruster, or the mini submarine thing, or the mecha thing. Um, yeah, and you can customize it like however you want. Like at least the underwater rooms, you can literally make it however you want. You can put cameras out there. You can do so many things. Like it's dumb how many things there are, and it's great. It's not dumb in a bad way. It's dumb in a good way, because you could play around with so many things and never get bored. I at least loved it. I loved the customization. It was great. And yeah, so I started saving some energy by getting the solar panels and adding other stuff. And yeah, it was a lot more complicated than I thought, but I was happy. Kind of like Rust, in a way. It's kind of like Rust, where if you want to have a really like ultimate base sort of thing, you can wire your house to have this and that, cameras to this, to that. It's so complicated, but yeah, it's so easy to learn, and it's really addicting because you can start making some pretty cool shit if you know your stuff. So yeah, one thing about this game is that like it gets dark a lot, and you just have a flashlight if you make it, and or your thruster has lights too, or your mini submarine. But at the end of the day, it's still very dark. You have to know how to work your way around it. And a lot of people, I've heard, they didn't finish this game because, well, they're kind of scared. They fear being in small little places, and you're always just in a submarine, or kind of like yourself in this really big place, or in little like I was gonna call it a tavern, but little caverns, like a cavern, like a little cave. And yeah, that's it, it's really scary in a good way. I keep saying in a good way. How's it scary in a good way? I mean, it's scary in a way where it's like your like your human instincts, your animal instincts are telling you no, because there's something there, or it's dark and you don't know what will happen if you go in there, or it's risky. But the thing is, if a game is doing that, that means it's doing its job correctly and very well, and it had a very good atmosphere. It's not even the scary like, oh, there's a killer over there. No, it's like it's a freaking animal and that thing's gonna eat me. I need to get the heck out of here. And sometimes it would get really quiet. Sometimes it would get really loud. Like these creatures would be making noises or different things that you'd hear. It was still really cool. Like you'd hear this like really low voice, like from an animal, right? It was like that's probably the worst voice ever. But yeah, you hear a lot of that. And yeah, it's super cool to do all those. Yeah. One of the missions that I remember is when you have to like you hear the radio and they're like, oh, we had a base here and blah blah blah. But you go to like some pods, you find some pods, and you go there and it's just destroyed. The pod's destroyed. You go in there and you find stuff. You can find blueprints, you can find upgrades. I remember the first or second one that I found a navigator thing, like a compass, and now I had the ability to actually go and make a compass. And it wasn't too useful, but hey, I had it, I guess. And yeah, great. So yeah, after that I came back and I made a farm. I liked just to let you guys know, there was a lot of farming in between. Like, I'm not talking about all the farming. I would always go farming after every trip, or after going to every like all the pods, right? I would always farm. I would constantly be farming so I can make my base. Now, my base wasn't all that like great. It was good, but it wasn't that great. I also made a small farm, had little pots at my house, and I would grow some of the habitats there. You can even have a habitat with creatures. You have like their eggs, and you can grow them and stuff in your aquarium and other things, which is cool. So like I said, I found a survivor base, and I also found a ton of uh, basically a bunch of other material and blueprints. That's like the biggest thing. That's why I don't really want to talk about it like as a story, because at the end of the day, it's not. There were like very small missions, and it was just like, get this item and or blueprint, and you end up having a blueprint. You could do more stuff. Basically, the whole point that you're doing all of this and getting all these materials and creating better materials and better weapons and better items and making a base is so you can get closer to that ship. The one that is in the game, that big one that crashed, and you have to go get some stuff over there, and then like you end up doing something else. Anyway, it was mostly all farming and harvesting and stuff like that, and going and getting some blueprints, finding blueprints, going out into the ocean at random places and finding pretty much random crap. And I love that. Like there's obviously a market for that. People love to do that sort of thing, and really dangerous and scary locations, because goddamn, it does get scary sometimes. So I can definitely say that. But yeah, that's it. Let me see. I'm just remembering after that whole thing. I think I made a propulsion cannon, which is like this thing, like it shoots air basically. I thought that was super cool. You can basically shoot air, and it's cool. Like underwater, you could use it there or outside when like later on. And yeah, that's that part. To me, I didn't, like I said, I didn't make a gigantic base because it really wasn't necessary. I made the farm. I made I made a dock. Did I even talk about that before? I don't think so. I don't think I talked about the dock yet. Yeah, so you can make a dock. Basically for your like underwater submarine ship thing, right? You can make a dock for it, so you can dock it somewhere, and it's cool because like it goes up, and there's like the water doesn't go in, and fish are like sometimes like trying to like smell or lick or whatever towards the little surface of my base, and fish typically like mess with your base sometimes. If you have like a like I don't know, like a antenna sticking out, they'll go and bite it. Freaking asses. Yeah, that's I guess normal because they don't know what it is. Anyway, I did like the whole mechanic of creating something. I would like to go on creative and just make something stupid. I think that would be really fun. So after I would I made enough. I restocked. Let's just say I restocked enough so I can go to the big ship. Once it's like all destroyed, and there's like a lot of fire. It's just all destroyed, and I got on it, started walking around there. You like you basically go around and you find these like little spider things. You have to kill them. I used the propulsion cannon to push them back into the water, and my problems were pretty easy to fix. So those spider creatures were blown away so far. I really loved the atmosphere though there, because it was just like you're barely getting on the ship, that like the one that you came into the island with, and now you feel like you're actually somewhere in the game. And there's also a lot of fire there, so you have to get enough extinguishers and basically use it, obviously. There's also a lot of puzzles and hidden areas. So for example, it's a really big ship, right? So there's like different ways to go. You go to the room on the right, and there's like a fire, and now you don't have to like put out all of the fires, but it's better if you put them out, because there may be a door behind it, or something like a chest, because you find a ton of chests, you find a ton of stuff on the ground. Yeah, basically you go around and you do like little puzzles. For example, there was a ton of boxes in front of the door, and I had to use the propulsion cannon to like blow all those boxes away. It was smart, but yeah. And one part you end up like having to repair some generators inside the ship, and I found a bunch of PDAs on the way, which I did listen to, but once again, it's kind of like, it's not. It does go into the story, but the story is basically you crash there, and there may or may not be survivors, which I didn't find any, and you basically make a spaceship to go home. Yeah. Anyways, after I left from the ship, I found like a shark eelish looking monster. He looked like an eel, but also a shark. And I actually looked it up, and I guess he's called Leviathan. And this is the final monster in the game, but I didn't know. I just saw him, and I was like, heck no, he's really big, and he swims really fast and just goes around everywhere. Fucking crazy looking fish. So I ended up escaping and going back to my base, and there's another mission where you have to go like super deep. I restocked and I went to that like volcanic area. It was like 1,200 meters underwater, which was really cool. You started getting like magma and like volcanoes everywhere, and yeah, it kind of like, it feels like if you're in the Nether in Minecraft or something. So yeah, it was really weird. And throughout this whole thing, I have not even talked about it. There's a lot of lore with the monsters. Like if you pull out your scanner and scan everything, including the material, the things you find, everything, you can like scan it and read about it. And there were so many different kinds of monsters. Like even the first monsters that you see, little fish and stuff. But there's this one that like farts these yellow things, and if you get too close, they explode, and the gas kills you underwater. It's so weird. And then there are these other little ones that like blow up, and later on even more, like so many kinds of other weird creatures that try to attack you later on. So I even saw a giant octopus. I didn't do anything to it though, because I was like, yeah, no, octopuses are pretty smart. Yeah, I think I'm good. I think I'm good. And that's where I think we're almost done. You find some ancient ruins, because like you have to end up getting these like tablet looking things. There's like a I forgot how many there are, but I know I got like a purple one, a blue one. I don't even remember, but you have to go to these like ancient looking ruins. They look really cool though, like super futuristic, technological, but yet so alien like, and like it was like black but green and super cool. And yeah, so it's inside the volcanic area, and yeah, I thought it looked super cool. You basically you can mine a lot of that material that's there, like the black and green looking stuff. And you like, as you go through it, there's puzzles and stuff, and you end up having to open a force field, a wall. You end up getting a blue tablet, and yeah, and you also have like a purple tablet from another mission that you did. It's not really that important because the mission wasn't like, it was just you find it, or right. You use the data in all of the places there once you like go through that door. And then there's another door, a portal that appears, right? So you go inside this portal, and it teleports you to another part of the ruins, and you end up finding a biological archive. What does that mean? What is that? What is a biological archive? Well, these actually exist as well in our world. There is such a thing as a biological archive. That's when we basically get the DNA of every animal, we get all kinds of food, all kinds of things, and we keep a copy of it, just so if we ever run out, we can replicate it, right? Somehow later on. We can already replicate a lot of kinds of crops. With if you even have just one simple crop, you can replicate it. So yeah, you end up finding that. I Nothing much happened from there. I ended up going back afterwards, back to my base, restocked, and then I went to go kill the eel shark thing. Um, yeah, that's I guess the Leviathan, which is like supposed to be the final boss. I hooked onto it a ton of times and used my weapon. Like it's like this chainsaw thing. Like I don't even. It looks like the back of a pencil, the eraser part, but like skinnier than that, and it like spins and starts killing them. Well, I used that to kill it, and afterwards you basically get enough materials to make a spaceship, and you technically get the heck out. And the end. That's that's the whole game. So I can't really spend all that much time talking about it because at the end of the day, you're farming the whole time. I can't talk about every single time I went out to just go and get a bladder fish and then come back, and then later to go just make a battery and come back. Oh, I forgot a battery and I forgot to recharge it. Go back. Or I have to get some silver ore. I have to go 100 meters deep just to get the silver ore and go for like 20, 30, 40 minutes at a time. Yeah, do you guys see what I mean here? Survival games are not good to talk about. They are, but you could talk about your experience. Yeah, that's basically it, guys. And oh yeah, I guess just to kind of give you guys a last final thing. Yeah, even though this game doesn't really have a story, it does have one, but not really. And you have missions and like little puzzles, and you go around collecting things and maintaining things and getting enough resources and typically not dying. The feel of the game is amazing. I recommend anyone who wants to try out a game that is challenging, yet it's not challenging later on. And later, with the more stuff you have, the easier it is to just do everything else. And you can just keep being creative and making more stuff. And you can do this in survival or in creative or in freedom mode or hardcore. I would really like to play this game multiplayer. I don't know if there's a mod, but if there is a mod, I would love to play this with someone else. And who knows? Maybe it might be you. We don't know. But yeah, that's about it for today. I appreciate you guys listening to the podcast and enjoying yourself. There's a lot of things that like I can't really explain. I can only say, just kind of say it, but it doesn't. You can't really feel anything. For example, like when you're inside the water or you go somewhere deep, it's just really scary. It's dark, but it feels so good because you're surrounded by water all the time. It's like, I don't know. I think just it's a human thing. We like water. We like to swim. We like to be in it. Yeah. But I think you should try out the game yourself if you truly want to feel it, like that scary feeling. And it's not even that scary if you like, you're just not a person that gets scared a lot. I didn't really feel scared, but I felt eerie, like, oh god, there's something behind me, or this fish randomly attacked me, that sort of thing, right? So yeah, guys, that's it for me. That's all. So guys, thank you, and I will see you guys on the next podcast. See you next time. Goodbye.